My wife and I created Curing Kids Cancer about 13 years ago. And one of our premier events is here in Columbia. It's the fire truck pull. And it's a very simple concept. Get a team together, see how fast they can pull a fire truck 50 feet. And the teams go out and they try to raise money. You have to raise money to enter. And through that, we build this sense of community. We build a sense of excitement, and we just have a great day out here pulling fire trucks and raising money for childhood cancer research.
We do fund research. You don't get that initial contact with the child. Where this event, you get to honor them and represent who they are, not because they have cancer, but because they love horses or they love Batman, and you can dress up and just have a great time together. And you may struggle to pull a fire truck, but you know, very minuscule compared to what they're battling. So
this first year we've been able to participate, and my husband was, as soon as he saw it, he said, you know, I want to pull a fire truck. I want to have the opportunity to pull a fire truck. So we got a team together and we got to do it this year, right? Mm-hmm.
Well, we love having it here. It's great for our fire service, those who work for this department, to participate. But we are in the community, so why not have it? You know, we're here 24/7. We have 3 shifts, so they're always in the community. So it's great to have it at the headquarters at Station 1. So we're just glad to be a part of it.
Childhood cancer is not rare, and it really does. When so many people come out, they're like, I didn't realize how many kids in our community have cancer, and it really does build a community. So we're really excited that, you know, the families allow us into their personal lives, and that the fire department lets us have it here, because it's just an amazing thing that we do.
The money we raise here in Columbia goes to Palmetto Health Children's Hospital, specifically for their childhood cancer unit, and we have a $1.5 million endowment that we're funding here in Columbia to improve the pediatric cancer care.
My name is Stuart Kramer, and I am a pediatric hematologist oncologist here at Palmetto Health Richland. One of the ways that we treat pediatric cancers with chemotherapy, and a lot of the chemotherapy that we have today has been around since the 1960s. Its main goal is to stop the cell cycle, so somehow cause damage to that cell and allow it to die. The downside to chemotherapy, and many people know this, is that it affects good cells, specifically hair that grows. So a lot of our patients become bald for a period of time. It's nice that the government has grants to help fund research, but the reality is, as we change with research, it's really going to depend on private donors and local donors to help each institution be able to give care to the population that lives the closest.
It's pretty good in the hospital, and I make a lot of friends, and the nurses really. And, I met some of the children who had cancer also. They've been coming in here, we've been watching movies, and, you know, having little parties and stuff. Getting them. Well, during surgery, I was pretty scared, because it's my first time getting surgery, and like my mama, she told me not to be scared, because sometimes you need to have surgery for most important things, and I stopped being scared, so I thought of being brave, and I just went through it.
Each patient becomes extremely special to you. You're there for the best of times and the worst of times. It does take a piece of you every time something doesn't go the way that you want it to go. So you know, I think that research and cancer therapies in the future, it's very exciting times, because there's a lot of new therapies out there, whether you go with what we call targeted therapy, immunotherapy, kind of conventional chemotherapy, which is what we use now. The problem is funding.
The current forms of chemotherapy are particularly hard on kids. And you've seen the pictures of bald-headed kids, so it wipes out good cells as well as the bad cancer cells. But what people don't see are things like the mouth sores. It gets very personal because it brings up all the memories of Killian, and the chemotherapy affects, a lot of soft tissues. So they get terrible mouth sores, and they have sore throats, and they have nausea and vomiting, and then they're given prednisone in many cases, which is a steroid, which makes the kids hungry. So it's this awful combination of, like, Killian would wake up at 2 in the morning and he'd be starving and would want, something to eat. And then he'd start eating and he'd start crying because his mouth hurt so much to put food in it.
I think everybody looks at cancer as that happens to other people. And then when it happens to you, you feel alone. But then you get into this situation like we did down here, and we realized, hey, there's these families going through the same things we are who understand it. And now I feel it's on us as people who've gone through it, whether it was a good ending or, a not good ending, a not happy ending, for their fight is to be out there and telling people, yeah, my daughter had cancer and she's made it through and now she's a survivor and now it can be cured, so you don't have to be afraid of it as much as others.
That inspire me are Richard and Killian. They remind me a lot of each other, and they both passed away, but they were just full of life, even at their sickest.
Richard had DIPG, so essentially a brain tumor, and DIPG is awful. Essentially what happens is they tell you, enjoy your 3 to 6 months or whatever it may be. There's not really any hope. But Richard went on this amazing journey with DIPG where he was essentially almost beating it, and it was really inspiring to see.
Richard was so big in Columbia, he was on the news a lot with his mom, and his mom really used the media really well to get his story out there because people didn't realize that there's a child right here in the community that is not going to make it. And people just fell in love with him because he was so silly, and he loved the Gamecock equestrian team.
Towards the end of his time here, we took the horses out to his front lawn, and it was so just, I don't want to say redneck, but we just pulled the trailer, pulled the horses right in the neighborhood, and he came out. They brought him outside. And for somebody so weak to be able to even get on a horse was the most inspiring thing ever. Because you can't even imagine how weak he must be with everything he's going through. But to be able to, find the strength to want to get on a horse is inspiring. But not only that, animals are amazing too. We had this one horse who sat his head just right in Richard's lap, and it was the sweetest thing. And it just kind of brought everyone peace at that moment.
And that I will never ever forget that, because the horse came right up to him in the wheelchair and just kissed him, and he kissed the horse, and it went back and forth for a good 5 minutes. And it's like the horse knew he wasn't going to make it, but felt the love from that child. So I get really close to those kids, but it's worth it.
Well, obviously, the more we can get the name out there, the better. And the reason for the foundation, obviously, is a pretty important one. Like I said, we've been really involved with different ways of working and getting children's cancer out there on Facebook and all that. So the more it can be done, the more it can be pushed on the radio and different avenues of getting it out there, the better, because a lot of folks don't realize how much it impacts children. Everybody knows about adult cancer, but not everybody cares too much about the kids right now.
I just want to make sure we're always raising more money than the previous year. But each, whether it's $1 or, $10,000, as long as we're raising money and it's going to, we know where it's going, so it's a great thing. So we just want to do our part to try to help to find a cure, because, our kids are everything. So.
Absolutely, for us, research has been, it's the reason that he's still sitting here today.
There's good days and there's bad days, but goal always is to finally say that we have a cure for pediatric cancer.
I'll have children come up to me at an event and they'll say, I emptied my piggy bank and it's 26 cents. And they're like, it's not a lot. I'm like, but that penny could go over and get us to the next level for treatments. So, yeah, we just want to get this bigger and bigger and maybe have some more fundraisers and get somebody with a lot of money to write us a big check. Don't do that.